Good morning, I'm Paul McGee. I'm known as a sumo guy, and sumo can stand for shut up, move on, not as aggressive as it sounds, or stop, understand, move on. It can also stand for, in Latin, sumo means to choose. And I've been delighted because I've written this book called Yes. It's aimed at young people, probably from the age of 10 through to, well, maybe through 10 till 20, who knows. And I'm delighted that St. Bede's have been the first school in the country to want to embrace these ideas in these books and share them with some of their pupils. So I'm Paul McGee, the sumo guy. This is called Yes. And St. Bede's, you're flipping amazing, and it's great working with you.
Good morning, and Paul, would you like to just tell us a bit about yourself and introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, I will. Nice to see you, Joanna and Niamh. I'm Paul McGee. I'm known as the sumo guy. And sumo, S-U-M-O, it can mean shut up, move on, or in the book that we talk about for young people, we have an alternative definition, which is stop, understand, move on. And get this, teach you a little bit of Latin here. In Latin, the word sumo means to choose. And as Drew Povey says, who was a friend of mine and Mr. Denton's, every day is a Tuesday, C-H-O-O-S-E. So that's my name. And that's kind of like why I'm known as a sumo guy. I'm a short bloke from Manchester.
So, if possible, could you summarise the main message of the book for anybody watching?
Yeah, I think for me, it's like none of us, when we are born, if you can, cast your minds back, for me that's like over half a flipping century. None of us are magically born with a set of skills on how to deal with life. And what we do is, as we grow up, we get ideas from our parents and from other family members and carers and from teachers and from our mates. And I suppose life is a bit like building a house. And it's like you can make the house any way you want it to look like, but you kind of need the tools to do it. And I think what this book was about doing was about helping young people who've learned loads of good stuff already from parents and teachers, but maybe give them some additional tools, because life can be a bit of a challenge, particularly maybe as we're going through adolescence and in our teenage years. And I just wanted to give almost like a toolkit, a toolbox of ideas to help young people think, how can I get the best out of myself? How can I get the best out of my relationships with others? And how can I get the best out of life? Because life is fantastic and it is a privilege and it is amazing. But it's also sometimes quite difficult. And sometimes you wake up and the sun's shining, or as we've woken up this morning, it's dark, it's cold, and it's raining. And it's like, how can you make the most out of every day? So it's a toolkit, really, to help young people kind of make the most out of this wonderful experience of being alive on this planet.
So why do you think the book was necessary to write, and what do you hope that people will get out of reading it?
Okay, thanks for that, Niamh. Why was it necessary to write? There's a little phrase from a psychologist called Eric Byrne who said, you don't have to be ill to get better. So I didn't want to write a book presuming that young people are just completely struggling in life. I think we can have our struggles, but I think there can be lots of happy kids out there. There can be kids who are pretty confident and pretty positive. But you don't have to be ill to get better. But I'm also aware there could be some young people, and when I was at secondary school, a little bit of a backstory, I ran away from a home at the age of 10. So when I was in year 6 at primary school, my life was so unhappy at home, basically because of my stepfather, I ran away. And it was a really difficult time, and I guess I struggled a lot in secondary school. I had some good times, but I did have some struggles. So for me, as now this old bloke, I kind of thought, I've written other books. I've written this book. I mean, I've written 12 books, but this book, Sumo, came out in 2005 and was really, it became a Sunday Times bestseller. It sold like over 150,000 copies worldwide. And it's like that really helped a lot of adults. And I thought to myself, that's helped a lot of adults, and a lot of the ideas in there helped me in my 20s and 30s. But I thought, what can we do to help young people, whether they're doing well or whether they're struggling a little bit? what can we do that's actually going to help them to maybe enjoy life a bit more and deal with some of the challenges? One final thought, because I know you're asking a short question, you're getting a flippin' long answer. But life, I think, is a bit like a game of snakes and ladders. And in life, when you're on that board and you're trying to win the game, you're going to come across some ladders, which is great. But sometimes you'll land on a snake. And sometimes there might be 2 or 3 snakes. And, what we've gone through with COVID-19, what we've gone through with the political change in our country and Brexit, and what we just go through as teenagers, it's like, I just thought there might be some stuff that I could share that would help young people, that even if they land on a snake, they don't quit the game, they roll the dice, they keep looking for the ladders, and ultimately they win.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah. Just a minute. So did you have to change your writing style for the book for adults and the book for teenagers?
Yeah, I did actually, Niamh. For me, what I actually decided to do, one of my little confessions is, although I always wanted to write a book that would help young people, I didn't know whether I could, because as you rightly said, that's a great question, I'd written mainly for adults. So what I did was, I did try and become a little bit more playful and try, and as I'm writing, and actually wrote the book, literally where I'm sat now, I did try and be a little bit quirky and funny, but what I tried to do then, or didn't try, I did, was I got the advice of loads of other people, and that included teachers and included parents and an educational psychologist, but more importantly, it included young people. And so I literally had what you might call this advisory board, and the advisory board included children who were from the age of 10 through to 18. And one of them, this little lad called Finn, he's like, when his dad said to him, I want you to read this book, and it's like, I'm only 10. What, he's a Sunday Times best-selling author? How on earth, why would he ask me? But the reason I was asking Finn and all those other young people was because I need their feedback. I've got this little phrase, success comes from the support of others. And so, yes, I had to change my writing style. And then I had to sort of weigh up the feedback. And you'll be glad, because maybe there's certain things I was going to say in the original book that I didn't say, that I took out or I changed. Because it was like, no, Paul, that's too much of a dad joke. Or, no, you don't use that word, because that's not really a word that young people use anymore. So, yes, I did have to change my style, and it's a big lesson in life, isn't it? You can have achieved some success, you can be doing well, but always remain open-minded and humble enough to ask other people for support.
So where can you buy the book from?
Okay, well, the book is available on places like Amazon, and I'm not sure when this is going to be shown, but if people are wanting to get the book on Amazon, if they could make a note of this Saturday, December the 12th, it's actually going to be available on Amazon between 1 and 7 p.m. During the day, so one in the afternoon till 7 in the evening. It's available for something like just over £6. It's normally £12.99. So if you want to get the book and also save yourself a few pennies so you can go and get your takeaway at McDonald's later on the evening, whilst you're having that while you're reading the book, you can do. But even if you miss that, it's still been reduced on Amazon. It's available, I think, in some bookstores like Waterstones. There's another place called the Book Depository. And also, I know that Mr. Denton and your school has bought lots of copies as well, that hopefully lots of your friends might get to read. But can I ask you a question? Can I ask you both a question? You'll have to say yes now, because it'd be awkward if you said yes. And I guess the question I've got for you, and I'm after some genuine feedback here, is, I'm right in saying you've both read the book, haven't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. What did you enjoy? What did you find helpful from the book?
I quite liked how it spoke to teenagers as a group.
Yeah.
It was very directed, and it was clear that it was meant for us, and it wasn't just a book that somebody had recommended because it had some messages that might fit. It was written for us, and it was tailor-made. So I quite like that.
I quite like the language in it, because it's it's not patronising, but it's also, it speaks to the right audience, and it's not hard to understand. And it gives the right message at the same time.
Yeah, brilliant. Well, that's really encouraging for me, because obviously when you're trying to write for young people, that's quite an age gap, isn't it, really, from people maybe the older primary school children, year 5 and 6, right through up to your age, year 11. So, yeah, I had very much my target market in mind, and I just hope it does really help lots of young people wherever they're at in life at the moment. So, thank you ever so much, girls. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.